Hello, welcome to Shoot the Defense on FNX. I'm your host, Stel, and my co-hosts this evening are the returning Yiannakis, Rhodri Giggs, and Mark Briggs. First of all, Jan, how are you doing? Where have you been hiding, my friend?
Not bad, mate. I'm good. Just had a iffy few months, but I'm glad to be back. It's good to be back anyway.
You had an Ife Onura few months.
Yeah, you could say that.
Excellent. Rod, how you doing, Geezer?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks.
Just good. That's all right.
Yeah, just
Glad,
good.
you glad Jan's back?
Ecstatic.
Oh, dear.
Mark, welcome to the show, mate. How is the United States? How are the United States? I don't know. I don't know. Someone's going to correct me anyway. How are the United
It
States?
doesn't matter, mate. Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. It's
Is
nice
it
and warm.
sunny out there at the moment?
Yeah, it's definitely back in the 90s again.
Lovely. That's what I love to hear. Fantastic, fantastic. Well, guys, before we start the show, I'd just like to give a quick shout out to our executive producers, Mary, Nodas, and John. Thank you guys for all becoming patrons. We really, really appreciate it. And yeah, long may this show continue with these guys. Thanks to everyone in the chat room. Thanks to everyone that's listening live on our Twitter handle, which is fantastic because thank you, Twitter. You've actually given us the opportunity to stream our shows live. We've only got 3 people listening, but that's 3 more than I kind of expected on that, which is great. Gents, let's start with our weekly quiz, now known as the quiz with no name, because I couldn't think of anything else. So I'm just calling it the quiz with no name. Now, for the benefit of our new listeners and Mark especially, I've actually checked the Premier League history books and found 3 fixtures from the same season, being 2006-2007. Now, the whole point of this, I give you guys the results and you need to guess the goal scorers. The rules are simple. No Google. That's it. Don't use Google. Okay, Jan?
What do you mean? All right.
What do I mean? What do I mean? No.
He definitely Googled it last week. How he got Sunji Park? I don't know.
Well, I'm not going to go into that. I think the less said about that, the better, to be fair. Right, okay, so the first game, Liverpool 3, Tottenham Hotspurs 0.
2006, did you say?
2006.
2006, 2007. This was in September the 23rd, 2006. I even give you the day.
Amir Husky?
Guess at the end. But when you were away for like 3 or 4 weeks, did you get your ears checked or cleaned or anything like that? No?
I'm just excited to be back. I just wanted to,
Well, there's a different kind of excitement here, my friend.
Okay.
Relax. There's a channel on Sky at the moment. It's called Babe Station if you want to get excited about stuff like that. So,
All right, I got to go, gents. I'll see you later.
your TVX free view starts at midnight, by the way. Right, that's free advertising, TVX. Pay me. Right, the second game, Man City 2, West Ham 0.
2006, 2007.
Yep.
Did they have money then?
Who's? Yeah, no. They didn't have Arab money, as Busta Rhymes. Okay. Next game, Fulham has Fulham 0, Chelsea 2. And Chelsea had money then.
Who was that?
Fulham against Chelsea.
Fulham,
What score?
Chelsea.
2-0. 2-0 for Chelsea, sorry. 2-0 Chelsea. Okay, you written that down? Yes, that's a yes. Everyone's written it. Okay.
Struggling with this.
Oh, we'll go back to that. Don't worry. Right, let's do our roundup. Because
Jan, get off Google.
I can't.
Jan, get off RedTube. I know the missus isn't home.
She's just gone to bed. I needed her phone. Damn, I might just go wake her up. But anyway.
Messages, clear the cache. Right. This is really going downhill, Mark. It's the kind of show that we have. Right, the first game of our roundup show took place at Old Trafford, where Mark's Wolves stifled Manchester United to earn a draw. Now, Fred, or Fredge, as the Brazilians call him, opened his United account to give them the lead after a superb one-touch pass by the dab merchant Paul Pogba, before João Moutinho's superb strike pulled Nuno Espirito Santo's side level. Mark, now, I know many United players have been criticised for their performances and approach to the game, but surely that's a bit disrespectful to Wolves. I mean, it was a solid performance, wasn't it?
Yeah, to be fair, I thought the Wolves gave a good account of themselves and were in the game throughout, especially the first 20 minutes. I thought they were, they created good opportunities and put United on the back foot.
Well, what do you make of Nuno anyway at the moment? Because he's come in, brought in some fantastic footballers. Obviously, Jorge Mendes is there in the background. You must be very hopeful for Wolves' future.
It certainly looks positive with the players they brought in. Being connected to, obviously, Jorge Mendes, that's obviously a big help in attracting players and getting the talent that's going to hopefully keep them in the Premier League and produce in the Premier League.
The thing is, he's got a lot of people on his books, doesn't he? Now, do you think there's a bit of a conflict of interest, so to speak? Because if he's got 2-3 world-class players, and let's say Wolves they're not a poor club, are they? What's to say that because of his association with Wolves, he's going to prevent them from going elsewhere?
Yeah, that's true. It is a bit of conflict of interest, and who knows what the actual laws to that are. But they're obviously doing. I think they've been investigated a couple of times. After last year, someone came out, didn't they, and said something to those lines, and they were investigated. So they're obviously doing something right, I'd imagine, behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I haven't spoken to you about Wolves, mate. You know your European football, you know your Portuguese football. What has impressed you most about them so far?
Just their style of play, just their bravery. The fact that they've come into the Premiership and they've carried on their style of the Championship into the Premiership. They've been brave. I mean, I watched them against City. I watched them against United. Same approach. I thought they were outstanding on Saturday, and they deserved the point. And another day they could have got 3. To be fair, a lot of technically good footballers in their side, and they're all working together. And Nuno's got them all playing a certain kind of attacking style as well. And it's good to see. I've been really impressed by Wolves this season so far.
And the thing is, Mark, when I look at someone like Adama Traore, right, this guy, he's a beast, isn't he? I mean, he's built like a brick shithouse, and he's got rapid pace, so dangerous, and his close control for a big guy is superb.
Yeah, mate. He's. I thought he could have been more effective in the game on Saturday. I thought if he had a bit more about him in that last attack just before the final whistle, Wolves could have gone and won it. But yeah, he's obviously got blistering pace, and he's gonna add to the squad, which is good to see as a Wolves fan.
The thing is, as if I was a Wolves fan, I'd be slightly disappointed he wasn't brought on sooner because Luke Shaw was on a yellow card, and we know that Shaw is a quick guy, but he's pretty one of the fastest players in the league. He really could have caused United some damage. Yeah,
definitely. And at the point in the game that they actually brought him on, United started to put Wolves under a little bit of pressure, that last 15, 20 minutes, and it was difficult for Wolves to get out. Occasionally they did, and they could have made more of the situations they got themselves in. But he could have been brought on a little bit earlier and had more of an effect on the game than he actually ended up having.
See, I thought the substitution was right the time that he brought him on, because United were attacking, and I think Nuno thought that the fact that United are going to attack, they were vulnerable on the counter attack, and Adama would have been. I mean, you saw what he had about 3-4 shots, he had 4 chances. I thought you got the substitution right.
Okay, fair enough. We'll agree to disagree on that one, young man. Like we'll agree to disagree on your hairstyle. Right. Rod, Jose Mourinho praised the Wolves players, saying they play like I like to play, which is like a World Cup final. He also questioned his team's attitude, not for the first time in the last 6 months. Can you see Jose's point?
Yeah, you can, but I've got to agree with Jan to a certain extent. I've been really impressed with Wolves. They've started the season really well. Very impressed with how they played against Manchester City. They were lucky not to come away with a win there. But it's still Manchester United at home against Wolves, who've just been promoted. You'd expect us to go on and win the game, especially when taking a 1-0 lead. But Wolves they're organised. They all work together. But most importantly, they're all comfortable on the ball. So and they're good when they're on the ball. And They've got good players, so, and they've showed that this season. But you still expect a Manchester United team, the team that he put out, the players that he had at his disposal on the bench to still go on and win the game. And it's just another dig at his players and another, which he's probably right, because some of them we already don't know that they're not good enough for Manchester United, and obviously he knows that, but you still expect him to win though.
The thing is, I'm going to be on Jose's side in this one, not for the first time. If this was last season and United stuck 10 men behind the ball and left Lukaku up front on his own and, held on to a 1-0 win, people will say, well, he parks the bus. But United went for a second and they got caught out. And the marking, there wasn't any marking on Moutinho, to be fair. He had acres of space. He had time to, I don't know, make a bloody cappuccino.
If you watch it, it's like I don't know what Fred is doing, because he's in that space, and then when the ball comes over, he literally runs back towards goal. And if he just stands in that space, he's literally 2 yards away from where he takes the shot. So I don't know what he's doing, because he could have prevented that. And you say, Jose, it's partly his fault, because he keeps on picking Sanchez, and he's just been terrible game after game after game. How many chances do you give someone? You've got to leave him out. There's players on there that deservedly need to have another chance and need to get a run of games that he's had and see what they produce, because at the minute, a high wage and with a big reputation, and he's just been rubbish all season and at the end of last season.
Mark, can you see the logic behind United signing Sanchez, though? Because obviously, what Rod has just said, many United fans have echoed that sentiment. We know he's a cracking player, but for me, it just seems that at Arsenal, no disrespect to Arsenal, but he was a big fish in a small pond. Whereas at United, it's almost as if there are other players there with a bigger name, and it's almost as if he's got a free ride at the moment.
Yeah, it seems that way. I agree with Rod. Like his performances haven't been good enough based on who he is and his salary and so forth. It needs to be much better. He's not creating much. He's not scoring goals. Sometimes it's better to take them out of the team and give them a rest, give them a kick up the arse, whatever they have to do. But I think you're talking about obviously Wenger last year, who probably gave him a lot more freedom to do as he pleases kind of thing. And I think that got the best out of him. Whereas as Mourinho, I was asking him to do a certain role and do certain things within a system that if he doesn't do, he doesn't necessarily play. I think there's got to be something behind that to it.
So basically what I think you're saying is that if Sanchez was given a similar role or the same role that he had at Arsenal, then someone at United has to make way. And who is that player? Because there's only one player I can think of, and that's Pogba.
Lukaku,
you reckon?
Yeah, whichever role he plays, he's still got to keep the ball. He gives the ball away far too many times. Yes, he runs back and most, but some of the times he gets it. But these are just sometimes like 5 or 10 yard passes, and it's just simple balls, and it's just so frustrating. Because we've seen the quality, but we haven't seen it in a United shirt.
That's why I play him up front, Rod. Yeah, take that away from, let the others create for him and let him finish.
Yeah, possibly. But we know Mourinho, Lukaku's his man, and he's not going to drop him unless he's carried off a stretcher. So we know that already.
With any luck.
Right.
Fair enough. Mark, Santos deployed the 5-4-1 system that appears to be working for now. Now, given the players at his disposal, what other systems do you think he'll go with if he needs to change things later on in the season?
I honestly don't think he will, mate. He's set with his system. He's confident in his players. He's confident in his beliefs. I don't think he'll change it. I think I watched an interview he did the other day, and they asked him if he was nervous of anybody in the Premier League, if he was worried, and he just simply said no. This is how we're going to play. This is our style. And credit to him. He obviously believes in what he's doing, and it's working for them so far, although it's very early.
Absolutely. Right, United's rivals Liverpool and Man City pulled further ahead in the table with convincing wins over Southampton and Cardiff, respectively. Jan, when you see the way Liverpool and City put their opponents away, what does this actually tell you about the golfing class? To me, it just seems that the only way Guardiola and Klopp's men will actually drop points is if they become complacent. Is it too easy for them at the moment?
It is too easy for them at the moment, but they're making games look easy. The fact that they're keeping the ball about 70-80% of the ball, whatever they got in every game, they're limited their opponents to chances. I mean, was it Southampton had their first shot on target in the 91st minute the other day when the game's 3-0 and it's over? It says all about Liverpool and how dominant they are. I mean, City, they're 3-4-0 up at half time. Games are over because the intensity of the games, their attitude is spot on. And to be fair, still, both teams have got quality, Liverpool have addressed, the centre-half position with Van Dijk. They've brought in some really good midfield players. And we touched on the show last year when we said Liverpool are about 2-3 potentially players away of winning the league. And I think this is their best chance of winning the league for many years, to be honest. They've got a massive chance of winning it this year.
Well, they've got a better chance of winning it than under Brendan Rodgers because they don't rely on a couple of players. Whereas here, they've got a whole group of individuals that are working together as a team. And they've got a back line that's not going to concede 51 league goals.
Absolutely. And Klopp's rotating his squad now, where something that he got, criticised a couple of years back, where he carried on playing the same players with the same intensity. A lot of players got injured. Now he can afford to leave like a Salah out and bring Shaqiri in, and they still got Chamberlain to come back from injury, and Fabinho's hardly featured. He's a good player, so he's still got to come in. And as a United fan, look at watching City and Liverpool up there playing the style that they do, and reminds me of United old, how United used to kind of blitz teams, and they're doing exactly the same.
That's right. Rod, Mark Hughes made some comments in his press conference that didn't really age well. It was on Friday, it was the pre-match press conference, and he said that Southampton will go to Anfield with the intention of causing them some problems, them being Liverpool, not his own teams. Or he probably calls his teams calls themselves their own issues. Saturday's result means his teams have lost 17-3 on aggregate in the last 6 games against Liverpool. Surely his intention should be not to get a hiding.
Well, I'm sure that was the plan, but Liverpool got a lot of weapons. It's a difficult place, Anfield, especially when the tails are up and the players that they have, and it's okay to criticise, and I'm not Mark Hughes' biggest fan, to be honest, but
that's putting it mildly, mate.
No. As a player, he was brilliant. I used to love watching, but he just becomes so boring with his excuses. He never tells the truth. Just tell the truth. And it's difficult at Anfield. The first 20, 30 minutes, if you don't come out there 0-0, it's going to be a long afternoon. And obviously, it was a long afternoon for Southampton because the tails were up. And like I say, once you get the tails up there and the crowd gets behind you, it's difficult because they've got a lot of weapons and like Jan says, the players that they've added, they're sure at the back and they look solid at the back. So they're going to be up there. I still think City will be strong and still win the league. But, like the lad said, it's probably the best chance that they're going to have because of the squad they've got. And he can rotate because you play in that way. You've seen it at the end of the season. They get tired and they lose silly results. So I think with the squad that they've got, they'll run City close, but I still think City are favourite.
I think you're right about that, mate. Right, Burnley moved out of the bottom 3 with an emphatic 4-0 victory over Bournemouth, while Leicester City bounced back from last week's defeat at Bournemouth with a 3-1 victory against Huddersfield. Mark, Sean Dyche and Claude Puel have come under some criticism as of late. Now, both have been accused of only knowing how to play one way. What do you make of both managers?
I rate Sean Dyche highly. I think he done a fantastic job last year with limited resources, and again this year with the limited resources he has. They haven't started off well, but I think he's tactically very aware. And let's face it, Mourinho doesn't come out and give someone a compliment if they're not decent at what they do. And I rate Dyche. I think he's a good coach, and he's obviously English, and it's good to have an English coach coaching in the top flight.
And what about Puel?
Puel, I think he's tactically really astute in regards, especially defensively. I think they've lost that little bit of I don't think they've replaced Mahrez. Obviously, top player and hard to replace. They've got Damari Gray come in, and I just think they're defensively decent, but they haven't replaced the quality of player they have, and it's hard for them to get the results that they have in the past.
Do you know what? I feel a little bit sorry for Claude Puel, and the reason why I feel sorry for him is because he came to the Premier League to manage Southampton. No one gave him a hope in hell. Southampton had a fantastic coach in Ronald Koeman who left. They had Pochettino before that. And here comes Claude Puel, who's very structured, very organised, plays a completely different style to the aforementioned managers. Right. And he got a lot of stick from the Southampton fans. They wanted to play a certain way. He got them to a cup final. They were quite unlucky to lose that cup final against United, to be fair. And then they chucked him out the door. He then got the Leicester job. And let's be 100% honest, he came in with a group of individuals that had down tools for Ranieri, who practically won on the title. They down tools for Craig Shakespeare, who, I don't know, he's the modern day Ray Harford, God rest the guy's soul. And a lot of Leicester fans aren't happy with him. People on social media are criticizing the guy, saying he's bland and he's too boring. But what do they expect him to achieve at Leicester City, for crying out loud? That season when they won the league was an utter freak season. He can only work with what he's got. He spent the money wisely that he's received. He's made Maguire into one of the best English defenders. So I can't see where all this criticism has come from or why. It's not valid, is it? It really isn't.
No, not at all. It's that thing where you get a little bit of success and you crave more, isn't it? And I think Leicester fans, because they have won the league there a few years ago, they're still riding on those coattails and think they're a bigger club than what they actually are. And that's where some of that criticism's coming in from.
Is that your Wolves hat, with your Wolves hat on, yeah?
Yeah, a little bit, mate, a little bit.
Bigger club than what they are. You had to get that one in.
I was reading it I can't remember where I read it, but there was the top 20 richest football teams, and obviously the top 6 were in there, but there were 2 other teams from the Premier League, and Leicester was one of them, and West Ham was the other. So obviously they've won the league and they've got rich owners, and maybe they want to go to the next level now. We're living in a world where they want characters as well as good coaches, so maybe they want to go to the next level, and Puel's not that kind of character that they want. I know he may be an able coach, but we live in a world where they want Klopp, they want a Guardiola, they want someone screaming and shouting and
right.
And jumping up and down on the touchline, where he's quite reserved. He goes about his business quite quietly, and he is a good coach. But like I say, we live in a world now where he wants someone jumping him down on the sideline, which is
Yeah, it doesn't fit that bill, does it?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Leicester are owned by King Power, who are actually I think they're the biggest duty-free company in Thailand, and their revenue for 2014 was like 1.8 billion. So if we're going by that, then effectively Leicester are actually richer than Man United, to be fair.
Yeah, exactly.
I
was quite surprised when I read it, just thinking Leicester, the top 20, one of the richest clubs in the world. But yeah.
But then again, aren't Bournemouth owned by like a Russian?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know actually.
I think they're owned by what's it, Maxim Demin or something like that. I think he's I think he bought the club for almost £1 million, but he's a multi-millionaire. Like he's loaded, absolutely loaded. So this whole thing about Bournemouth living the dream. Well, it's hardly Blackpool, is it? I don't want to talk about Carl Iceland now. Let's move on. Rod, it was practically one of those games where everything Burnley hit went in. Does their season begin now, and can you see them finishing in the top half again?
Yeah, I do. I think history's shown us before that if you haven't got a strong squad and you're one of the lesser sides, if you're playing that Thursday, Sunday, it's obviously caught up with them. I know they're out now, but obviously they've had a full week's training, and Saturday's results shown that they've got the 3 points, and I expect him to go on now. It's a tough place to play, and Sean Dyche is a good manager for me, and they've got a good squad there. So yeah, I expect him just to press on now and to finish middle of the table at least.
I think I'll give him a lot of credit for how he's handled Aaron Lennon. You know, the guy obviously has had his issues, which well documented. But it's almost as if he's found his end product at Burnley. You know, a lot of Spurs fans that I know were saying that was his one flaw at Spurs. His pace was absolutely rapid. He could beat a man just by, as you said, Rod, pace kills. But it was his delivery and his end product that wasn't there. But it's almost as if he's stepped up since going to Burnley. And he's what, late 20s?
Yeah, well, he's quite an astute manager, Sean Dyche. I'm sure, if someone's got all the tools at set one, the first thing you do is work on it until you correct it. And obviously, he's done that. He's dealt with difficult players before, i.e. Joey Bart and other players. So he's obviously good with people like that. And if they've got personal and issues, I'm sure he's the type of person that'll help you out. And we've seen that with him, with Aaron Lennon's performance and his end product now, which we all agree that he lacked. He could do everything else. He could take a person on with ease, but his end products lacked in times, and obviously he got that right Saturday, and hopefully he could keep that going.
He's not a manager you want to have a row with, though, is he, Sean Dyche?
No,
he
he's not. He was a tough centre half, wasn't he?
It reminds me of Stone Cold. Like, it scares me.
He was it. Sean Dyche eats 40 cigarettes a day. Lennon is actually 31 years old, so that means there's still hope for Theo Walcott. So
no, there isn't.
Listen, with that Despacito haircut, you never know.
Not having him.
Yeah, and James Maddison was praised by his manager for his creativity. Now, when you look at Leicester's options in the final third, it's very difficult to rule them out for a Europa League spot, isn't it?
They're a good side, Leicester. I like the way they play football. Madison's a proper number 10, if you want to call him. He plays on the half turn as well. For me, he's like in the similar mode of like a Ross Barkley, but I think Madison looks like a better player. Looks like he's got more about him. More intelligent. He's got confidence. I mean, I was impressed with him at Old Trafford, first game of the season. I thought for someone that was making his debut in the Premiership and at Old Trafford as well, I thought he handled himself really well. He's got a good future. I mean, I don't want to upset the Leicester fans, but I know they've just signed him from Norwich, but a couple more seasons like that, and I think he'll move to a bigger club.
Yeah, I'll be surprised if he stays there that long.
Yeah.
Is he English or is he Welsh? I don't know. What nationality is he?
No, he's English.
He's English.
He'll be called up to the national team sooner or later, won't he?
I think so.
Yeah, you'd like to think.
Depends if he has fewer touches. If he has fewer touches, we don't like the English don't like that, do they? The English like to have like 10 touches, and then we'll have him. Yeah, 10 touches. We don't want him because he has 2 or 3 touches.
Okay.
Look at this guy. Well, I don't think he's gonna, do a Wolf Zaha and decide that he's a completely different nationality to, But let's not go into that, shall we? I'm gonna get people gunning.
No, but that's for what England need. England need that number 10 that comes on the ball, that can see a pass and score a goal, and he can do all of them. And he, like Jan said, at Old Trafford, I was very, very impressed. He should have scored as well, to be honest. But yeah, he was very impressed. I've been very impressed with him all season. That's why he's in my dream team.
Oh, there you go. Excellent. It was Jack Grealish that chose Republic of Ireland over England, wasn't it? Because he felt he couldn't get into the national team. So perhaps I don't know, Maddison might have Welsh relatives, Rod. You never know.
No, I think I was listening to Talksport this week, and I'm sure he's English.
Okay, fair enough.
He signed a new 5-year deal today, didn't he, Grealish, at Villa?
Yeah, I just saw that. The Villa, right?
Yeah.
How much do you think he's on now? He's got to be on a big wedge.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It helps them either way, doesn't it? Because if he goes, then they'll get more money because he's on a big
Absolutely.
contract. So,
Yeah.
and it keeps the lad satisfied because he's probably on more dough.
Did you see John McGinn's goal the other day? By the way, the volley.
Oh, what a screamer!
The
Great goal.
shape. The body shape. Jesus. I bet he's a limbo dancer in his spare time. All right. Let's move on. We're kind of going off track here. Well, I'm going off track. Anyway, right. No Europa League hangover for Arsenal as Unai Emery's men dispose of Everton 2-0. The Toffees were wasteful in front of goal and were duly punished. Rod, Lacazette gave Arsenal the lead with a screamer. He doesn't do tap-ins, does he? He's surely the Premier League's most underrated striker, isn't he?
Yeah, he's up there. Well, we said that last year that why doesn't he play more? Because when he did play, he made a contribution and he changed games. So obviously, and goals change games, and that's what he does. He's a good player, and if you give a player like that, we didn't really see him with Arsenal. We didn't really see him with a good run of games, and obviously he's getting that now, and he scored a good goal on the weekend. But yeah, I really like him. He's a top player, and if he plays more, I'm sure he'll get you 25, 30 goals, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and he came to the Premier League, and people were saying, "Oh, it's a league full of farmers, whatever." The league, but he's just his goals to game ratio. I'd like to know what his goals to game ratio is in the Premier League, because the guy he's a beast, isn't he?
Yeah, he's a proper striker still. I mean, you and I have watched Lacazette for how many years? Playing for Lyon. We've always rated him. We always thought he was a good player. Now, to take the step up from Liga to the Premiership, of course, it's different. And the lad needs a little bit of time to settle. I mean, he was in and out of the team last year. He didn't score maybe the goals that he should have. So maybe a lack of confidence. But you can see when he gets a run of games, he feels more comfortable now in an Arsenal shirt. He's playing with Aubameyang, who seems like they've hit it off on and off the pitch. It looks like they've got like a friendship there and a good partnership. And the guy's a proper number 9. He's a proper striker. Give him a chance. I mean, even his goal on Sunday, he wasn't even a chance, was he? It was just he shifted it half a yard and then scream on the top corner. So no, he's lethal, like I said. He's a really good player.
It's always difficult for strikers, if they don't play every week, they can't get in that rhythm.
Yeah, absolutely.
If he's playing every week, I'm sure he'll get you 25, 30 goals. Yeah. Like Jan says, he takes time. It's not like Sanchez. Sanchez come from Arsenal. He played in the Premier League. He should hit the ground running, really. Yeah. But with Lacazette, we've seen him when he plays, he'll score you goals. And obviously, if he gets a good run of games, then he'll cause anyone trouble.
Yeah.
He's played a total of 37 league games for Arsenal, 28 starts out of those 37. He scored 15 goals. That's not a bad return at all.
No. And he's not had a good, solid run of games. It's always been stop-start or left out, and then 2 or 3 games. He needs a good 10, 15 games, and just let the manager back him, and it might give him that extra boost of confidence that he needs, and go in and get extra goals.
He scores goals, left foot, right foot, header. He's probably the most complete striker I've seen, in the past few years. I mean, look, for me, Aguero is still the best Premier League striker, for me anyway. But, as I said, you can't knock the guy's goal scoring ratio. You can't knock the type of goals that he scores. He's very brave. He's not afraid to shoot from outside the box, which is very rare for Premier League strikers. And he's a poacher as well. You never see him miss a sitter. I'll say this now, he's probably going to miss one at the weekend. When he comes in, he does a job. I actually haven't seen him have a bad game for Arsenal, even when he comes in as a sub or has a bit part role. I don't know. Anyway, whatever.
No, I agree, still. I agree.
Yeah, I agree as well. He's he can play on the wing as well. He can play left. He can play right. He can play up front. Yeah, and he's a threat wherever he plays. So, yeah, but like I say, he needs a good run of games, and he's already shown you what he can do.
I'll take him over Lukaku any day of the week at the moment. But anyway,
yeah, me too.
Let's not get into that. And Marco Silva's men have only won 1 out of their first 6 games this season. Now, Koeman was sacked last October, ironically, after a defeat at the Emirates. Are we on the verge of seeing David Moyes back at the club?
No, Allardyce is going to come back to keep him up.
So no Moyes there.
No Moyes. Well, the Everton fans remember what they wanted last year. Marco Silva is this the manager who's going to take us forward and he's going to play a certain style. all right, listen, it's still early days, but it just shows that in the business that football is in, it's all about results. And like you said, Everton are losing games at the moment. All right, they might be playing a better start to Allardyce, but at least Allardyce got them results. Silva's not getting them at the moment. So, as we know in football, it's a ruthless game, and if it carries on like this, you might see, like you said, you might see Moyes back at Everton.
God, I think that's where clubs have got to be a bit more. Everton, the Everton fans are talking about they want to play the right way, they want the ball on the ground, they want to play the style. Yep. And yet they're talking of bringing like a coach back like David Moyes. Like, no disrespect to Moyes, but he's not your out and out play football, beautiful football, get it on the ground.
Nope.
Do you know what I mean? It takes time to change your style. It takes time to change your philosophy, and you can see he's slowly changing it. But like you say, they've got to get results.
United, I've been trying it for 5 years, Mark.
That's it.
I just think Everton missed the trick there, because they spent 40 whatever they spent on Richarlison, and they need a centre forward. They need a centre forward last year, and they still need a centre forward this year. They've still not replaced Lukaku, and until they do that,
they're going to struggle.
Yeah, they will struggle. Yeah.
What's happened to Yerry Mina and Gomez? They haven't featured at all, have they? Andre Gomez and Yerry Mina, they haven't played.
No, not at all.
I think Yerry Mina was injured, wasn't he? I think
and Gomez?
Pass. I don't know. He's a defensive midfielder. I don't know, but the thing is, goals win games. Obviously, I mean, it's you don't need to be a rocket scientist to work that out. But when you take Richarlison out their team, they've only got really Cenk Tosun that can score goals, and he had a good season. Came in January, and again, his goals to shots ratio was fantastic, but he's not going to get you 15, 20 goals a season. They haven't replaced Lukaku, obviously. So for me, again, it goes back to what I said a couple of years ago when Adam Partington came on the show. Well, what do Everton fans expect? Because they're not going to be a top 6 club with the squad that they've got. They're not going to be 7th to 10th or chasing a Europa League spot without a striker that can get them the goals and win them games. You got players like Walcott that aren't delivering. You got Sigurdsson, who, let's be honest, apart from the odd set piece here and there, he's not going to get you 10, 15 goals, is he, from midfield? So where are the goals going to come from? They
can have Lukaku back if they want.
Well, apparently David Moyes said that he wasn't allowed to sign Lukaku, and if he did, Everton would have mounted a title charge under him. They would have mounted a title charge. In David Moyes' honest opinion, they would have mounted a charge when he was in charge if he got Lukaku. But anyway, I'm not going to go into David Moyes. You know how I feel about him anyway. But he doesn't get.
And you know how I feel about Lukaku. But anyway,
Save yourself. Right. In other news, Marcelo Brozovic's 94th minute goal gave Inter a 1-0 win at Sampdoria in a game where VAR disallowed 3 offside goals. Not 1, not 2, but 3. Jan, Inter have made a stuttering start, to say the least, of the season, but what a goal from Brozovic. A great strike through a crowd of players.
Yeah, it was a great strike. Keeper could have done better, though. Went underneath him. Maybe the power was too much for the keeper to handle, but that was a big win for Inter because, like you said, they've stuttered a lot. They've spent big money Inter. There was a lot of expectation at Inter Milan this season, and Inter are faltered again. I mean, the players that they bought, like Nayangalan was for me, I rate Nayangalan. He's such a good signing and a good player, and Spalletti's always kind of had an impact everywhere he's gone, but he hasn't really had that at Inter Milan, which has been surprising. So, to get the win in the 94th minute could be the boost that they needed. So that was a big goal for me.
And Spalletti's got a touchline ban for celebrating too much the winner. I mean, for crying out loud, it's a 94th minute winner in a game that really could have, made or broke his career.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, that's ridiculous. I mean, they're going to ban celebrations soon as well. You get a yellow card for scoring a goal. I mean, what's the world coming to? It's an emotional game. He's the manager of a football club who's under pressure. He's just got a 94th minute winner. I mean, what's he supposed to do? Fold his arms? I mean, ridiculous. Let the lad celebrate.
Absolutely. Well, look, while we're on the subject of great goals, what about Higuain's from Milan against Atalanta?
Oh, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. I mean, the pass was lovely as well, but the technique, the power, the finish. It just shows, Higuain is one of them strikers that thrives on, on confidence as well. I mean, he's gone to AC Milan. He's the main man there, and he's done well since he's gone there. And he scores against Atalanta, teams like that. It's against the big boys that he struggles, but it was a brilliant goal the other day.
No, correction. It's in the finals where he struggles. Every final he plays in, he loses. He's a serial loser in finals, isn't he? He's like kryptonite. So if you've got Higuain, don't play him if you get to a cup final. Honestly, just keep him well away from the city. You're the country. Just go away.
Looks like he likes a bowl of pasta as well, doesn't
he? Looks like he's had a few.
Yeah.
Right. Well, Mark, I understand VAR was used in the Monarchs versus Sounders 2 game last July. What was that experience like, and how do you feel about the use of such technology?
I feel the experience with us wasn't good. Let's put it that way.
I'm intrigued. What happened?
It's all right using VAR, but what baffles you is like they still go and look at the screen and still get the decision wrong. I don't understand how they can get it wrong when they're looking on the TV at it. Like some decisions, VAR can be effective, it can be useful, but I think they've got to come up with a better solution for its effectiveness on the games.
I think that's the same thing that I was talking about last year. It's still going down to someone's opinion, innit? It's like some referee has a different opinion. Oh, that was a penalty, where different referees say no, it wasn't. So it's still the opinions. I think the VAR is to stop the stonewall balls. I don't know, blatant penalties, blatant offsides.
Yeah,
but the ones that are 50-50 or 60-40 that probably are a foul, you're going to get the ones that are just that are not consistent and go against that. Exactly. That's the problem.
Yeah, definitely. It's like we Real Salt Lake played the other week and they went 2-0 down and the first 2 goals was offside, and they were allowed, and VAR checked them and gave the goal still. So then you're like, well, hang on a minute, what chance have you got?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, in Serie A, any ground that's got a big screen, they actually show the VAR incident as well. So yeah, that's that's a bit controversial, to be fair.
But that's what should happen. Because otherwise, it's just for the armchair support. The person at the game is missing out on an experience. He can't see what's going on. The referee just suddenly disallows a goal, runs up to the screen, has a look at the screen, and then disallows it. And people in the ground are none the wiser. So you have to have a screen in there to let the fans know, or the fans that are going are missing out on the experience, and it's just for the people at home.
See, the thing is, as far as I understand, and I could be wrong, but I think that there was a rule change for VAR in Italy, whereby they'd only use VAR if the referee asked for it, which is what was done at the World Cup. And obviously FIFA and UEFA are trying to get all their rules in line, get everything, to sing from the same hymn sheet. But that caused a massive controversy in Italy because they were saying, well, hang about, we've got these guys in the little truck, whatever, reviewing these incidents. That's their job. Why is it down to the referee? Because once again, you're going to get people questioning decisions made that say Juventus. It's a very, very strange. I know, Jan, you're not an advocate of it, but how do you think you did in the World Cup? Because we actually haven't spoken about it since World Cup. What?
I'm not a fan, still. You know how I feel about it. I mean, I go back to what Rod says. I actually agree with Rod about VAR for once, about about the opinions, especially the Perisic one in the handball in the World Cup final. A lot of people think that it wasn't a penalty. For me, I thought it was handball. Now, I heard a lot of, I think it was Shearer was going, it's not a penalty, and his arm was there and this and that. Well, he's moved his arm towards the ball, and for me, it's a pen. Now, it is all about opinion, as we say, but I don't know, so for me, VAR is not clear. It takes too long. I mean, I watch a lot of MLS football, Mark, and
Yeah,
I see referees sometimes take 5-6 minutes to make a decision, and
crazy,
even like you said, it is absolute crazy. What was it? Was it Orlando? I think the game finished like 101 minutes.
Yeah,
Because of VAR, and it's ridiculous. I mean, we're going to start having games ending at 110 minutes. Extra time penalties in the end. I mean,
that's it, man.
It's not clear for me, and I don't know. I'm not a fan. Sorry.
Mark, what did other head coaches say about VAR out there? Because I think MLS was actually one of the first leagues in the world to have it. No, I think didn't Australia have it first, or was it MLS?
Australia had it as well.
Yeah, Australia and over here, I think we're the first places to try it out. Like, I totally agree. I'm just not. I'm not a fan of it. I think it takes away the beauty of the game. Do you know what I mean? I think for big decisions, yeah, you can. If a ball's crossed the line or whatever else, or for game-changing decisions, then yeah, why not? But for everything and the amount of time, like Jan just said, like adding on 5-10 minutes to each game, it's just ludicrous. It's crazy.
I think the best way to be able to handle it is if you give the managers 2 chances. Listen, you've got 2 goals a half. If anything controversial, you can stop it, and the referee can come see it. And then I just don't know. It's still obviously teething problems, but I totally disagree with both of you. I still think it's a good thing, and it can only improve the game. Yes, there'll always be controversial decisions because we're talking about it now. So, but I still think the stonewall ones that referees and linesmen get wrong, that VAR can hopefully get right.
Yeah, that's what I agree with you with that. I think for the big decisions, I agree it can improve everything. But for how they've brought it in right now, that I don't think they've got a clue how to use it themselves and the best way to use it.
Yeah, I still think it's a lot of teething problems, and I still think that I still can't believe how they've not got it right yet. But it's a work in progress, and I'm sure they'll get it right in the end. But how long that'll take, I don't know.
I just think, like the game on Sunday where Aubameyang scores and he's offside. Now, for me, that's blatant offside. Now, if you've got a few people behind the scenes reviewing that, once the goal goes in, he can have a little word with the ref and go, listen, we've just seen that's offside. He can actually give it there and go, listen, someone's reviewed it. We've seen it on the telly. He is offside. He can give it. You don't need VAR for something like that because it's obvious. Someone can see it and actually tell the referee.
Right.
That can work.
Mark, were there any, I don't know, workshops for all the head coaches to attend so they could be educated more about it, so they could talk to their players, or obviously because it was a brand new thing, it's something that's kind of uncharted territory for you guys. So I can see why there might be a bit of uproar because, like, well, hang about, our jobs are at stake when it comes to these decisions. We want the technology to be spot on. We don't want teething problems. We want it to be fully functional and flawless before we actually implement it.
We sat in a meeting at the start of the season with pro referees, and they all sat down and spoke to us. And to be honest, you walked out of the meeting more confused about it than what you did when you walked in. So it was we all walked out saying the same thing. Like, so you just have to go with it and hope you get the best out of it. And I think right now they're certainly not getting the best out of it.
Fair enough. Okay. Well, while we're on the subject of MLS, Atlanta's 2-0 win against Real Salt Lake City puts the 5 stripes, 4 points clear at the top of the Eastern Conference with 4 games remaining. Now, Mark, there's actually something quite special about Atlanta United. Tata Martino's made his team very tactically versatile. They can control games with a possession play or even hit teams on the counter-attack, not to mention the different systems he's used throughout the season. They're hot favourites for the MLS Cup, aren't they?
Yeah, for sure. I don't think anyone can touch them. There's a few teams that kind of get a little bit close and hope if Atlanta have an off day, they might have a sniff. But no, Atlanta are by far out and out like the best side in America.
Where's this all come from though? Because I know they've got a brand spanking new stadium, a lot of fans that are very loyal to the club. Obviously, Tata Martino's made a massive impact. But where has this this renaissance come from? I've never seen a team come literally from nowhere in MLS. You know, we've seen Toronto, you know, being on the fringe. I know they lost the final and then they won it the year after. We've seen other clubs be there or thereabouts, but as I said, Atlanta have just come from nowhere.
Yeah, I think they've been doing it right, but like, you know, with their academy and things like that, they've got one of the best academies in the country. Like the weekend they played the young left back, 16-year-old kid. They're constantly producing high quality youngsters. And then obviously you've got to give Tata Martinez credit. He's come in and the players that he's signed, he hasn't signed, you know, your older players who are looking for a holiday paycheck in America. He's gone out and he's signed young players who are hungry to either move to Europe or to go back to South America. And he's obviously implementing his system and the level of coach he is. I think he's took the game to the next level with his instruction and his knowledge.
Mark, how good have Almiron and Martin has been? They're a sensation to watch.
Oh, mate, they're quality, man.
Yeah,
they're quality. I don't think the American League has seen players of that quality at the age they are.
Mm.
Well, I was going to ask you about Almiron because I know a lot of European clubs have been courting him. And you mentioned George Bello, the 16-year-old. What can you tell us about both of them, Mark?
I think obviously George Bello, he's had a bit of a name for himself. He was playing up a few years back, and I think they decided to blood him this weekend. And I think you saw his performance. I think came off after like 70 minutes or something. But yeah, he's got a bright future. And then Almiron for me is the best player in the country. His work rate, his vision, his touch, he's got pace. He's got everything. I'd like to see him, you know, have a go at a high level in Europe and see if he can handle it.
Mm-hmm.
Which player would you compare him to? Because I mean, I've spoken to a few people, and you know, Roberto Rojas, a good friend of the show from Low Limit Football. You know, I think he mentioned he's very similar to how Riquelme was.
Yeah, I can see that. I think he's got a bit more pace than what Riquelme had.
Yeah.
He's a bit more dynamic than Riquelme, but yeah, he's a pleasure to watch. Like how hard he works, and then he rarely gives the ball away.
He reminds me a bit of Asensio.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
He's always a step ahead.
Yeah.
That's why I'd like to see him have a go in Europe where the caliber of play is a bit better. Do you know what I mean? The players are better. It'd be interesting to see how he does in that environment.
Well, he's the biggest name in Paraguay at the moment, so you know he's an ugly looking lad as well. So you got that poster boy thing going. He could be a right cash cow, couldn't he, if he's marketed correctly?
Yeah, definitely.
There you go. Right. In an era where agent fees are blamed for ruining the game, Slough Town took a different route to finding the second choice goalkeeper to replace their injured number one by inviting people to apply on Twitter. Manager Neil Baker took to social media tweeting, "Strange way of doing this via Twitter, however, not getting what we need at present, but we're looking for a keeper as cover in the FA Cup for Slough Town. If interested, PM me." Sounds like something that, you know, you'd see a glamour model. You know, if you want nudes, PM me. I'll send them to you for a profit. Mark, have you ever seen a more unique way of recruiting players?
No, it's certainly out on its own in that regard. But I guess the way the world is right now, everything's done over social media. So I guess there's no harm in it.
Fair enough. Rod, was this a PR stunt?
Neil Baker, get off your ass and do your job. It's just lazy coaching.
Oh, got it.
Rod, you don't look happy. Do you know Neil Baker?
No, I don't know him. I don't know him. I don't want to know him. He's lazy coaching. He should know keepers out there going on Twitter. Just Tim Pot, innit?
It is, to be fair. It is Tim Pot.
Tim Pot. Where'd you get him from? Yeah, I got him from Twitter. Come on. Do you want to take? It's just Slough Town's not. It's quite a good football club as well. So I'm surprised. It's just it's obviously a PR stunt, or like I say, the guy don't do his job properly.
So he didn't take a massive shit in your wash bag?
No, don't know him. No one's ever been brave enough to do that. It would be tenfold afterwards.
See, Mark, you're never gonna have a dull moment on this show, I promise. Right, we got a question coming from Mr. DJ. He's a fantastic listener to the show. He wants to know your thoughts on UEFA announcing a third cup competition happening soon. How diluted will the game become, and will bigger clubs break away from the Champions League or even their own domestic leagues and form their own Super League? Well, I think the Premier League have got all the teams locked down because they've got a massive contract with them, haven't they? So it'll be very, very difficult for them to break it. But in terms of other nations, forming their own league, I mean, let's be honest, we've seen the agreement with La Liga and Relevant to take some games to the United States. We've seen how that, friendly tournament that happens every season. For me, that appears to be some kind of stepping stone or a tester for a potential Super League. I don't know. What do you guys make of this?
Oh, it's difficult, isn't it? Yeah, it's a difficult one.
Mark?
I just can't see it. The Europa League, does anyone watch it? I don't know if it's going to make money. It's just, I just don't understand it, because everyone wants to watch the Champions League. I don't know anyone who watches Europa League. I can't pronounce most of the teams that play in it. So, yeah, it's just, I don't know, it'd be difficult.
Yeah, I think it just dilutes it even more, doesn't it? Because like Rod just said, like, you look out for the Champions League games and you watch Champions League, but let's be honest, you rarely put on a Europa League game. So if there's another competition below that, there's just gonna be nobody watching it.
Yeah, is this similar to them bringing back like a Cup Winners' Cup? Because that's what that seems to me, mate.
Yeah, I agree. Where are they going to find time for all these fixtures as well?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, that's another thing as well. I mean, what happens when the World Cup in Qatar comes in place as well? When we start playing in November and December, well, what happens to all the major competitions then? I mean, this is just another incentive for more money, more revenue, etc. But I can't see it happening still.
I'm pretty sure it'll go to a vote for the Premier League, and I'm pretty sure that the clubs would vote no, because it goes back to playing Thursday. I'm sure they'll be on a Thursday night as well, which creates more problems for the lower ranked sides. That Thursday, Sunday.
Yeah.
Mark, I know this isn't a question that I asked. Well, I was aiming to ask you, because this is news that broke literally a couple of hours ago. A good friend of the show, Nip and Chop Rose, got a fantastic show called Sock Takes. He put out a tweet earlier saying, per three sources of the rebrand of leagues to be announced tomorrow will be as follows. USL will be similar to the Championship. USL Division 3 will be like a League 1, and USL PDL League 2. What does this actually mean for American soccer?
I think they're gonna sway the way with promotion relegation. Right. I think that's what USL's trying to do, and this is the first step towards that. Which will be good, to be honest. It'll be good for the game. It'll be good for people watching it. Because right now you can open a football club wherever you like if you've got the funds and you pay the fees. You can open a football club wherever. Whereas if you can bring in that promotion relegation, it just adds a bit more to the game.
Because they're moving Columbus Crew, aren't they?
Yeah, they're moving Columbus Crew from Ohio out to Austin in Texas. Which is causing all sorts of aggro at the moment. So that's what it's kind of like MLS. Like it's like opening a Subway. Do you know what I mean? If you want to open a Subway like down the road, you can go and open a Subway if you got the money.
Yeah, that's true. Because it just seems to me that what they're trying to do, and forgive me if I'm wrong, it's kind of trying to prevent the likes of David Beckham from creating their own team and starting off in the top league. If they're going to create a team, they've got to start off at the bottom.
Right, that's what they're trying to do, and I don't think MLS is ever going to get involved with it.
Right,
which is hard in itself, because that's obviously the top league. So you want the top league involved with it if you're going to do promotion relegation. But like, there's an English guy, Jake Edwards, who runs USL, and I think he's trying to make it very English and a bit more exciting to the American public.
Okay, fair enough. Excellent. Well, that's our review show done. Let's do our quiz, shall we?
Oh, yeah.
All right. So again, season 2006-2007. First game, Liverpool 3, Spurs 0. Mark, do you want to go first or do you want to pass it over to someone else first?
I'll pass it on, mate. I'll pass it on.
Rod's looking in the sky, so Jan, come on.
I don't know. Heskey, Gerrard, Hupia.
Okay, Rod?
Gerrard, Crouch, and I'll go Alonso.
Okay, Mark?
Torres, Gerrard, Carragher.
Okay, all right. Man City 2, West Ham 0. Rod, go on.
Say again, Man City what?
Man City 2, West Ham 0.
Man City 2, West Ham 0. When was it? 2006, 2006?
Yep.
I don't even know who played for Serie then, because the turnover has been massive, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Richard Dunn. Even if he's playing for them, I don't know. Or Benabia.
Okay.
There's one. Is he still there?
I don't even know, mate. Jan, what you got?
Was Anelka there in 2006?
Listen, I don't answer these questions. Just give me an answer.
Anelka? 2006.
And Nelko's at Bolton 2006, but you said it. Mate. Go on.
I can't even. Darius Vassell and Johnson.
Okay.
Oh God, John Darius Vassell.
Mark.
Oh God, I'm gonna go with Joey Barton and Micah Richards.
Okay.
I'm just thinking of players I know, mate.
I was the same.
Right. Okay, Fulham 0, Chelsea 2. Go on, Jan.
Pass it on. I'm gonna put my thinking hat on.
Crying.
I was gonna go Lampard and Gronke out, but I'm not. No, I'm gonna go Lampard and Gudjonsson.
Okay.
2006.
Drogba and Lampard.
Okay. Jan.
Standard.
2006. I'm gonna go Lampard and Ballack.
Okay, fair enough. Right, let's do this now because this is going to be brilliant. Liverpool 3, Spurs 0. Liverpool's goal scorers were John Arnorisa, Dirk Kuyt, and here's one for you, Mark Gonzalez.
Christ.
Have a day off, Stel, will ya?
Right. Watch out for this one. Man City 2, West Ham 0. Jan, you have a day off. Shame on you for calling yourself Greek. Samaras got 2 goals.
Who?
Samaras.
That was probably his only 2 goals to score for City.
Yeah, you should have known that. Shame on you. So there you go. The final game, Fulham 0, Chelsea 2. Frank Lampard got both the goals. So, gentlemen, you got 2 points each. Well done. I'll give you 2 points just for that, just for the Lampard one. I know you guys said other players, but I'll give you 2 points for that. So yeah, this was shocking, shambolic. Mark, I'll let you off because this is your first time. Rod, you know, you were very brave with your guesses. Jan, you're rubbish, mate.
Jan was rubbish because every time he got told to go first, he went no and he went last because he didn't know it comes down.
He was playing it safe, wasn't he? He's not happy. He's not happy.
He's not done his own work. He's not been on for a few weeks. No. He's been told to get off the phone and get to bed.
Oh, dear.
Don't let him get to you, mate. Don't let him get to you.
Oh, mate, this happens every week. Like, I need some backup. I hope you're on. I need some help.
I need some. You say that to every guest that comes on, and the next time they come on, they gun you down. Don't worry.
Right,
oh Jesus, this is brilliant. Right, gentlemen, it's been a fantastic show. Thank you ever so much for joining me, for being on the show. It's been absolutely great having you all on. Jan, what's your Twitter handle?
Oh, geez. Can I go third again? I can't remember. Yiannakis J, I think it is.
Yeah, Yiannakis J. Rod?
Rod James Giggs.
Mark, you're on Twitter, aren't you, my friend?
Yeah, Mark Briggs 6.
Excellent, wonderful. Well, that's it for this week, boys and girls. Thank you for listening. It's been a great show as ever. I'd like to thank my guests again for or my co-host, should I say. We're on Twitter at Shoot Defense. We have a Facebook group page. We're also on Patreon, so please feel free to help us out. But you don't have to. You know, it's all right. We're still going to be doing this show anyway, regardless. So, yeah. So until next time, guys, take care.